You gotta be the most fucking ignorant person in the world to think that Sam Harris, the West Coast yoga-doing, meditating liberal, is a jackbooted Nazi, okay? And I make no claim about myself, but you gotta be just, you gotta know nothing to say that. You got to have not seen anything or been anywhere or read anything. Unless what you're trying to do is to clear out the decent liberal ground, okay? And that's what some people are trying to do. I see it all the time at the moment. It's like, we want to get rid of the voices who are plausible, so we'll make totally illegitimate claims about them being Nazis, fascists, white supremacists, and so on, in the hope that we'll throw enough mud at them that they're no longer in the debate. I say, again, you have no imagination of where this goes. Because if you've heard people, this is another thing we've all seen all the time. When the mainstream media can run roughshod over somebody's entire life and career, and you see it happen, you become very doubting about the next times you see it happen with people who you don't know about. And one of my things about this is that if you've heard if you've heard 99 people illegitimately described as Nazis, it's highly likely that you won't believe the 100th time somebody calls somebody a Nazi, and it's possible the 100th time it's a proper Nazi. I saw this once in London, so I won't go on. I saw this once in London at a debate where a really stupid person I knew was sitting beside me in a debate, and somebody stood up and asked a question. And another friend of mine, who was a Labour MP at the time, said, "It's the Nazi lady." Okay. It was somebody who I won't name, but a friend of David Irving's, this person he pointed to. I read a piece by this really stupid person in the Telegraph 2 days later saying, "It's appalling. Everyone's calling each other Nazis these days when they disagree." No, she is a Nazi. She actually is a Nazi. But it was like, she'd heard it so many times that she didn't believe it when somebody said, "Oh no, that's the well-known Nazi." And that's sort of where we are. And it worries the hell out of me. I mean, the continent I'm from, we've got some Nazis around, okay? They're like, a Golden Dawn in Greece is about as thuggish a fascist street movement as you can get in 21st century Europe. If you claim that there's basically no difference between Golden Dawn and Sam Harris,
I think the only thing I'll I'm tempted to add nothing, but there's one thing that ties to your question, and no offense to Douglas, but I heard him do it, we all do it. But I keep cautioning people against it anyway, even though I'm prone to it, so it's worth getting out there. Argue honestly and stop pretending that you can read people's minds.
yes.
When I'm as pro-choice as you are going to find, I've debated it, I will call the other side anti-choice, and I will demolish their views that I think are actually harmful. But my wife and some of her friends had previously said, the anti-choice people, they just want to control women's bodies, they just want to control sex, they just want to punish women for having a vagina, a uterus, sorry. Boy, I can't believe I got that wrong.
It's not my area.
Yeah. Cheers. And I said, don't do that. What you should do is say exactly what the truth is, which these individuals want to implement policies that would have the effect of controlling sex and making women slaves to their biology, et cetera. That doesn't have to be their motivation. Their motivation could be, we want to make sure that every living thing lives forever. And if you misrepresent what their actual motivation is, they get to dismiss you immediately. In the same way that when Jordan Peterson or somebody tells me that I don't actually not believe a God exists, I get to dismiss them because I know me enough to know that they're wrong about that. And so if you stop pretending you can read people's minds and stop pretending you know what their motivations are and instead talk about what they're actually doing and the consequences of those actions, I think you will get a lot farther.
You know, what Jordan Peterson said there was absolutely so true. It's like, you want to clear the field. And who do you start with? Well, if you start with what you feel are the extremists, you know, they're not going to stop. So you go after those that are the moderates. And like you said, Sam Harris, calling Sam Harris a Nazi. Come on, calling, even Douglas sort of just joked a little bit, said, okay, I don't know about me or whatever. He's not a Nazi either. Neither is Matt. None of these are. But people throw this out all the time. The left playbook used to be, and it used to be very, very effective. And I would say probably going back at least longer than a decade, but I would say that in the past in the past few years, 5 years, maybe that's sort of lessened a little bit, but definitely in today's environment, I would say that when they take out their political deck of playing cards and they throw out the R word, racist, I don't think that has the effect as it did before. Not that I've seen. A lot of people are just based, oh, you threw the R word, you just, shrug it off. Most of the people on social media, most of the people that are out there doing things like this, putting out videos, going on, doing their own podcasts, having their own shows, whatever it is, those people don't care at all. And now we're learning that we're just basically flinging that card. We're taking that card deck and saying, you know what? I'm going to buy a deck of those cards. You calling me a racist? Guess what? I'm going to call you. I'm going to put down my R card. I'm going to raise you a bigot. Boom. Now the new word is insurrectionist, right? They want to call anybody insurrection. That's the new word. Insurrectionist. That's starting to taper off, big time. All the phobes, homophobe, Islamophobe, gayphobe, lesbian phobe, LGBT, transgender phobe, transphobic, this phobic, that phobic. Even those things literally are starting to melt away. They throw them out there, but I don't think it's having, that much of an effect, whatsoever at all. But Douglas is saying is that they just trying to clear the field, like clear the minefield out, throw anything out there and the mines will explode. And eventually one's going to get somebody. You'll get canceled, lose a book deal, lose a job, lose a podcast, lose viewership, anything that they can do to stop people. And they're using social media and they're using the mainstream media as their attack lapdogs, the alphabet networks, all kinds of pressure to bear. But it's really, I don't think it's having that much an effect. You still see Sam Harris out there. You still see Douglas Murray, Jordan Peterson, all these guys. They're all fighting the good fight. And there's so many out there to mention. But now Matt, just a little bit on Matt. He was saying that he wants to argue and he wants to have these discussions and these debates. And he's talking about intellectual honesty, which is, I think, what you have to do. You have to be intellectually honest in your debates. And if you're intellectually honest in your debates and you're not hypocritical, you know what? Those are the kind of people that you want to find to discuss, that you want to debate, because they might have, their opinions are completely opposite yours. But at least the ground that they're standing on is firm. It's not quicksand. And the same goes for you on your side. You should also discuss debate from a position of intellectual honesty. Now, there's always going to be those times, okay, I'm not saying lying, absolutely not. But there's obviously going to be a time when that rhetoric is going to be bumped up a little bit. So I don't know if you can use that 100%, but intellectual honesty, discussing from there, standing your ground, maintaining your position, that's the way it's supposed to be done. Anyways, folks, we hope you appreciate what we have done for you here on this video, bringing it to you. You're watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host, Dr. Nasir, and if you like our content, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel if we've earned it. Like, share, and follow us. You all know what to do. Check out our other video links here and below. I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.